Hi, and welcome to the show. Again, we thank God that you can watch the show, whether it's in your living room, your bedroom, your kitchen, or any other area in your home. We're excited to bring you D.A.P Ministries Presents. I'm your host, the Reverend Willie Williams, Jr. Excited to tell you about what we're going to talk about today. But more important is that we always encourage our friends and our families, as well as strangers, to go down to the Lower Ninth Ward. And I can tell you, I've been down there on a regular basis. I got relatives down there, got friends down there, and there are some things that are happening on Canal and Falstaff Street, extending all the way to Renee Street. CVS is breaking ground. They've already broken ground, and they're going to build a drugstore. So there are some signs of business. There was always some signs of individuals that were coming back. I have friends and relatives that stay down there. They've been doing pretty good. Of course, they do like anybody else do, complain about the blighted property as well as the overgrown lots. And I don't even have to mention the streets, because when I call our co-host, the Reverend Darrell Smith, also known as D.K. Smith, he has a saying that goes like this. He's a radio personality, 940 AM on your radio dial.
I'll take you home in style with a smile, despite the potholes.
Well, I have to tell you, Reverend Smith, some areas in the Lower Ninth Ward, they're not potholes.
Oh?
They're craters.
Oh,
they're
okay.
craters. I mean, some streets are impassable. And I'm not making this up, because I've drove down some of the streets and I said, my goodness, you can damage your car.
Oh.
And make sure you don't get a blowout.
Yeah. I've seen some streets like,
I mean, it's you know, I'm sure there are streets like that, because basically, if you're driving towards the lake on Franklin Avenue, there's a big old, it's not a pothole. They're finally fixing the street that has erupted. Yeah. In other words, it caved in, and they're fixing on the street now. And so it's not just in the Lower Ninth Ward, but it's all over. But the damage for the Lower Ninth Ward is greater, because I think there are less things that can help you. You know, like you say, if you break down way back of town, then how you gonna get uptown, or how you gonna get to somewhere where they used to have like little tie shops or things like that. They're not there anymore. They don't have as many grocery stores as they used to have. So that becomes a problem.
I remember they call it a food desert. You know,
it's a food desert. I think there's a young man that has a store, sweet shop.
You're talking about
on Caffin.
Yeah, he has the vegetables and the fruits.
He's on Caffin and Galvin Street. He has his own little store and stuff like. Uses his own money to get it back, and like I said all the time, there's more needed in that area. I know some people in that area, and there's more needed. Not that you know he's going to have a problem with competition, but it's better. You know, because that's when you have more variety, it gives you an option that way to be more competitive with some of your grocery goods, as well as the other needs that people have in their community. Again, we thank God for you being on the show. We thank God. I was thinking the other day in commemoration of Hurricane Katrina, and somebody was saying, how do you see Reverend Smith as a first responder? And they were probably saying, well, he wasn't a fireman, he wasn't a police officer. I said, first responders are people that give you information, and you gave that information over the radio. In other words, that was saving a whole lot of people, because no doubt when you came back, I think some of the streets were still flooded.
Oh yeah,
they still had water on the floor on the street, so they could, you know, if you got an opportunity to come down, most of the police officers say, well, you know, such and such a street, travel at your own risk. Right. And I can tell you some of the problems that we had with the people that they were rebuilding. People had flats look like every week, because of the trash that was taken out, and looked like all kind of tacks, nails, and everything like that. You could get gashes in your tires and stuff like that.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
I want to first mention, as we continue on, we mentioned the passing of a couple of pastors.
Yeah.
Mentioned passing of Reverend Dr. J.C. Prophet Jr.
Right.
Funeral was on Friday, and he laid in state on Thursday at the Gallia Hall, pastor of the Stronger Hope Baptist Church and president of the Ideal Missionary Baptist General Association, Education Association. And so our thoughts and prayers go out to the members and friends who knew Reverend
And
Dr.
family
J.C.
as
And
well.
family, of
Yeah.
course, who knew Dr. J.C. Prophet Jr. And Pastor Tyler Green passed. Not sure about the arrangements for that, but our thoughts and prayers go out to the family and friends and all who knew and loved Pastor Tyler Green, because just the idea, put it like that, just the idea of anyone who lost a loved one, that's one thing, but pastor being a spiritual father,
That's right. That's right.
Spiritual father, and just the idea that for that community, and not just for that family, but for that community, and for those who knew and loved. So our thoughts goes out to him, and of course all those who have lost loved ones that we probably know and don't know about, But I'm glad you said that about being a first responder as far as giving out the information and everything. In fact, I got a couple of
Why don't you
announcements
give out
I'd
some
like to make.
information? And I want to talk about Dr. Prophet, because what he did for Union Baptist College and Theological Seminary, I can remember when I was a student there, and he came for our chapel time and used to preach and give us inspiration. I mean, a powerful preacher. And not only that, as you say, association president, but the things that people have done leave a long-lasting legacy in your life. And so we just want to say thank you to his family, as well as to his memory of the things that he has done.
Yeah, and speaking of memory, I'm going to say this announcement off my memory base. The fact that the Zion Travelers First Baptist Church, Zion Travelers Second Baptist Church, pastored by Reverend Eric Layton, and what's happening there, they're having their Men's Day. It's going to be Sunday, September the 27th, but before they have that at 2 o'clock p.m., they're going to have a banquet. That's the 26th. That's Saturday, and that's for 7 o'clock, and it's at 3719 Laurel Street, and that's at the Zion Travelers Second Baptist Church. And I just make mention of that again to Pastor Layton, and we give honor to those there. Pastors' offices are members of the Living Rock Missionary Baptist Church. They invite you to fellowship with them on Sunday, September 27, 3 p.m. for their Family and Friends Day. It's going to be at the Gentile Baptist Church Recreational Center, which is located at 5119 Demilazan Street, and that's located one street behind the Gentile Baptist Church. The speaker will be Reverend Terrence Ranson, and pastor of the Greater Evergreen Baptist Church. And so that's going to be that Sunday, the 27th as well. And also, speaking of that, the St. Mary Baptist Church Women's Conference will be taking place on Saturday, September 26th. That's at 9 a.m. The registration at 8 a.m. and continental breakfast will be served. So that's at the Greater St. Mary Baptist Church, 1533 Horace Street. That's in Algiers. And they're inviting the women to come for the Women's Conference. And we do know that women are doing things, men are doing things, and so can't say that there's nothing to do,
But it's always something to do.
There's always something to do.
Always something to do. And I guess we can talk about that. Always something to do in your community. We'll talk a little bit about your community activities that you do as the Marlin Focus Group. And not only that, I think you at the welcome table.
I'm getting
so
busy there.
Why is that important to you? Is that for people who want to know what they can get involved with? Why is that important to you?
Well, let me start with two different aspects. Both of them deal with community. The Marlin Focus Group is a community neighborhood association and uptown between Napoleon and Louisiana, Ferret and St. Charles, more or less in that area. We overshadow or overlap with the Delachais Neighborhood Association, but we work together. In fact, coming up in October the 13th, that's a Tuesday, I believe, that's going to be the Night Out Against Crime. And so we'll be at the Atkinson Stern Tennis Center, which is located at 4025 South 4025 South Saratoga. And they'll have the annual Night Out Against Crime. We'll have food, we have entertainment, sign up, and we'll get a chance to meet your neighbors and everything. That's community-based. The Welcome Table New Orleans is something that's the city's been involved in. I've been involved with it for over a year. I went through training and went through a retreat and went through an understanding of dealing with projects. And this deals with race and reconciliation. Something that some people don't want to talk about, don't want to touch, but it's a reality. When people I dare say it, and I could say you or me, when people see me, they don't just see me in a black shirt, they see a black man in a black shirt. I don't care how good you look, Pastor, if you're in a good suit, whatever like that, people don't see that man in a suit, they see a black man in a suit. And so the fact that we have to deal with that, number one, is a thing that we just have to realize, you know. And so that's the, I won't say the struggle, but that's the thing. We're working on our second year. We have a new group of people. I'll be one of the facilitators for the new groups and everything. And so we had a workshop training last week, and I'll be one of the facilitators for the Carrollton area. They're going to be moving to different areas and everything. So I'm looking forward to it. It's just like from being a student to a facilitator. Right. But if they didn't feel that I could do it, I wouldn't do it.
Do you see that as a growth process?
Oh, of course. And I dare say the fact that I don't care how controversial things are, whether it's removing monuments or whether it's really acknowledging anything that's going along, you got to realize one thing. And I'll say this best way I can. Racism is taught, you know. It's taught. It's not something that's embedded in us.
Wait a minute. You're telling me that you made yourself. In other words, your parents had nothing to do with your birth.
Oh yeah, parents had something to do with birth.
And so a lot of times that's where it comes from. The cultural exchange is that you get these ideas from somebody. You didn't just pick them out of the air. Somebody had to take. And we understand that a lot of times that's what's lacking in community. There was an incident on TV about a lady in New York who I want to say accosted a young boy.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's like she was explaining her culture, saying my grandkids don't do this and you shouldn't do this. It's nothing wrong with saying your expectations of your grandkids, but there is a problem when you start handling other people's kid in a violent way.
Yeah. We call it discipline?
Well,
we call it abuse.
Well, discipline is correct. Abuse is not.
Yeah.
And we got to go to break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about that. We're talking to Reverend Darrell Smith, also known as DK Smith, 940 AM on your radio dial, and we're going to be talking to him about some of the cultural exchanges that are taking place in our community. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Poor nutrition today will increase Sarah's chances of anemia, add to her healthcare costs, sick days, even stunt her ability to learn. And the thing is, Sarah's not even born yet. Get proper nutrition before it's too late. Call or visit WIC. WIC provides nutrition information, healthcare referrals, even food. Your child has you, and you have WIC.
Mrs. Johnson, good to see you again. This is Mike. You can trust him. He looks just like you. Plus, 2 against 1 is more intimidating when we force someone to sign a loan.
And I'll be sucking up to you in order to keep up the illusion.
So, here are your low monthly payments and interest rate as we promised. Here's where they triple. The rest of this stuff, don't think a lawyer can read this. It protects us. Make sure we get your home when you can't pay us back.
Such a lovely house.
Yeah. But don't worry. We're going to sell you credit life insurance. You don't really need it, but
puts lots of cash in our pockets.
You look nervous. We better hurry and get you to sign. Or I'll pretend to ruin your credit with one phone call.
Predatory lenders are never this easy to spot. Call us and protect yourself with the facts.